As business owners, we do a lot to grow our audience and get people to see our products and services. We post on social media, we go on podcasts, or maybe we even run paid ads, all to bring potential customers to our websites. Yet, only a few % of these people ever actually become customers. Well, where do the other 95% of people go? And how can we turn them into customers? Well, there's a psychological answer to this and a simple way to solve it. Behind the world's most successful brands lies funnel architecture, which comprises of 4 pillars to convert the highest amount of your traffic into sales. These 4 pillars are obstruction, resonance, awareness, and coherence. But first, what is funnel architecture? Imagine for a minute someone sitting on his couch, scrolling through Facebook, and he comes across your ad or your post. He has no idea who you are, but something in your ad grabs him. He clicks a link and lands on your page. He's now in your funnel, but the work is far from done. There's things he's going to have to believe. There's objections he's going to have and distractions both on your website and in the outside world that are going to pull him away and leave him without making a purchase. Now, funnel architecture takes him on that journey from a click to becoming a customer. So whether you know it or not, you're using funnel architecture. And if your funnel is poorly architected, he will click off and you'll have to watch the sale slip through your fingertips. Now, the problem here, the reason he slips through your fingertips lies in one of these 4 pillars of funnel architecture. The first pillar is obstruction. Imagine you show up at a store. It's dark and dingy. The shelves have an inch of dust on them and you can't find what you're looking for anywhere. What are you going to do? Now, imagine on the contrary, you show up at a store where as soon as you walk in, you're greeted with a warm smile, not in a salesy way, but just in a, I'm glad you're here way. It's well lit in the store, it's organized, and you ask for help for something specific. And not only do they tell you, oh, it's on aisle 11, but they guide you right to where it is. So now you get there, you're not looking all over trying to figure out which shelf is on it. No, it's right here. And then the representative even takes the time to walk you through the different options and which one he or she recommends. You want to architect your sales funnel like the ladder. You need to remove obstructions that prohibit the journey from click to customer. But how do you find these obstructions? What are these obstructions on a website, right? We don't have an inch of dust on our shelves. So what are these obstructions? Well, if you start with mapping the path that your customers are on, when that guy clicks your ad, what's the step-by-step process he needs to take to click buy? Is there unnecessary steps in that process? Is there unclear actions? If you went through that with a fresh perspective, like you've never seen it before, would you be confused, right? If you gave it to your friend, would he or she be confused? I learned this from one of my friends, Matt. He's a brilliant marketer. And when he made his first funnel, he made a very wise decision they recently told me about. He made his funnel. He's very, very proud of it. He thinks it's great, right? We all have our own bias of the things that we create. But he hands his phone to his father-in-law and he asks him to request a quote through the funnel. The funnel was selling scratch repair for cars. So his father-in-law scrolls down the page. He's trying to figure out how to request a quote. He gets to the bottom of the page and he sees text that says request a free quote. And beneath it, it says phone number. And after staring at the screen for 30 seconds or so, he can't figure out where the darn phone number is. And he's super frustrated. He says to Matt, I can't find the phone number. And Matt's like, all you have to do is click on the text that says phone number. Like it's blue. The phone number will pop up. Just click that text. But his father-in-law didn't get that, right? He hadn't made the page. He didn't know that. So Matt realized like he needed to make it more clear because if it happened to his father-in-law, it's going to happen to the customers as well. He knew where it was because he had built it, right? But his visitors were not as familiar with it. So by changing the text from phone number to click to view phone number, he made it a lot clearer and the process easier for his visitors. Now, if you don't want to hand your phone to your father-in-law and ask him for advice, you can get the same insight and even probably better insight from downloading Hotjar. Hotjar is a little bit creepy. It allows you to watch customer recordings and heat maps and see what people are doing on your site. So you can see the recording of somebody scrolling, clicking, where they get stuck, and you can find these obstructions. Is there weird spots where like they're trying to click something, it's not working, they look at the phone number for 30 seconds and don't actually click it, that's a sign that people are getting stuck. You remove these obstructions and you watch your conversion rate shoot up as a result. Now, once you remove them, how do you actually convince the traffic that your product is the perfect solution for them, right? Removing obstructions is one thing, but if they don't want your product, they're not going to buy. And this is where resonance comes in. This is the second pillar. This is where traffic comes in and they feel like you are speaking directly to them. You're speaking directly to their pain, their desires, and you even use the same language as them. Resonance creates the effect that they just can't help but click buy because the product is exactly what they want. But how do you actually create this? Well, Dan Kennedy, and marketing legend, says always enter the conversation already occurring in the customer's mind. A friend of mine once told me, Ryan, your prospective customers don't care about your product. They care about how well you understand their problem and their desire. Because if you understand them, they will deduct that your product will solve their problem. This is resonance. In Dan's book, The Ultimate Sales Letter, he offers an effective way to create resonance in his 10 smart market questions. They allow you to really dig deep and find out what conversation is already going on in your customer's mind, and then just join that conversation. Because you can rarely guess your way to resonance. You need boots on the ground, talking to customers and could-be customers and asking them, what do you want, right? Listen for patterns between things they say. Ask customers why they bought. And then for the 95% of visitors that don't buy, ask why that could be. Both in your head, hypothesize, and then go out and survey them, right? Ask these questions and figure out where the gap is, right? And a lot of times we can hypothesize this in our brain and actually get pretty darn close once we look at it from a high enough perspective. Another great place to look is support tickets and reviews from your customers. Are there patterns that you can incorporate into your copy, reasons why people did or didn't buy? Now, if you work all of this valuable information into your sales copy, into your headlines, you're well on your way to creating resonance. But there's one piece that's vital if you want to achieve it, and it's the third pillar, awareness. Now, this is the most important element in really all of marketing. Understanding where the prospect falls on the sliding scale of awareness. Eugene Schwartz outlines this concept in his book, Breakthrough Advertising. It looks like this. I'll put it up on the screen. Your prospects fall somewhere between unaware to most aware. Knowing where is vital to your sales, because in every stage, there's different copy that's going to resonate most, right? So if you imagine that you were looking for a way to grow your business, you see an ad for a course that teaches you how to grow your business. You click on it, you land on a page, and the page is talking about how to get the best CPMs, EPCs, target CPAs, and ACVs with Google Ads. If you are only problem aware that you need more customers, but you're unaware of solutions, specifically in this case, Google Ads, then none of this is going to resonate with you, right? You'll click off. And it's understanding first what the problem is, right? So in this case, the person wants to grow their business. That's who I'm targeting. And then secondly, where are they on this scale? Do they know about my solution? Probably not. So they're not going to care about EPMs and CPCs and the best bidding strategy and campaign structure. They just want to know Google Ads will work for them. So if the copy of the page spoke to why Google Ads were the superior traffic source, who they worked for, right, and that was the type of person you were targeting, and how anyone could run them with the help of this training, that would resonate with them, right? The original messaging, speaking to CPMs and EPCs, is only going to resonate with those who are most aware and already running Google Ads. Your copy must match the level of awareness of your target audience. One of my clients, Joel Turner, had this exact problem in his funnel. He sells a course on how to prove your accuracy in archery, rifle, and pistol shooting. His messaging had a lot of techno babble, right? It spoke to the experienced shooter, but the new shooter left the site in a confused daze. We wanted to rewrite all of the messaging to make it more broad, to appeal to all the shooters, right? Not just people who knew all of these fancy terms. As a result of this, we doubled his conversion rate because there's all these people that were coming and they just were confused, right? And if we just spoke to a way that they understood, they would end up buying, right? And luckily, we did this in perfect timing because shortly after, he went on Rogan's podcast, which was even broader traffic, right? This would have been a massive miss of opportunity had we not done this prior to him going on. Now, the last step is vital as it ties really all of this together: obstructions, resonance, and awareness. And now the fourth pillar is coherence. So There's a specific, logical, and consistent train of thought your website visitors will follow when they come to your site. And you need to know what that train of thought is so you can speak to their specific questions and objections that come up in it, right? Now, over time, your intuition for the psychology of your audience will increase and allow you to make more coherent funnels. And in the meantime, this all might be pretty confusing to you. So imagine for a minute, I say the word elephant. I guess you don't have to imagine it. I just said the word elephant. What do you think about? Elephants, right? Now, on your page are many elephants. There's things that when you say them or when somebody reads them, all of a sudden your customers go to a certain spot in their brain, right? A great example of this is if you make a claim about your product, the next thought is that claim true? So if you make a claim, you need to then prove that it is true with testimonials or other credible sources that show what you're saying is true. But there's way more examples of this. I first learned this from one of my mentors, Spencer Van. I was watching his webinar, seeing how he was selling a product. And when I got to a certain point, he said something that raised a question in my head. And on the very next slide, he answered that question. And it wasn't something that was super obvious by any means. And I remember afterward, I asked him, I was like, hey, I literally had this question. And then the very next slide, you answered that question. Like, what was that about? And he's like, dude, I've looked at the questions and just the commonalities and the patterns in the chat box for like 2 years now. And because of that, I've seen where certain questions continually come up and I've added these extra pieces to speak directly to those. What specifically in this part of the page or the funnel are they going to be questioning or asking? And then how can I put a section that allows them to understand that, right? And the whole entire funnel should follow this coherent thought process, right? This thought process that follows all the way throughout. And sadly, it is very intuition based, but it also comes from looking at successful funnels and asking, why do they put that there? Right? Or making a swipe file where you can put them all next to each other and say, oh, wow, all of these have this common element right in the middle of the page right here, right at the end of the page right here. I should have that element too. So it's just being curious and using your intuition to figure all of this out. So these have been the 4 pillars of funnel architecture: obstruction, resonance, awareness, and coherence. Apply these to your funnels. Watch your conversion rate go up as a result. I'm rooting for you. Let me know in the comment section if you have any questions about any of these. I'm happy to help. But that's it for this video. I'll see you on the next one.